Good morning, Southern California, and welcome. If you're food obsessed, you've come to the right place. Join us for the next 2 hours and you won't go hungry. One of the first American culinary icons, Julia Child, said, "People who love to eat are always the best people." We agree. Live this morning from the newly renovated Westin Long Beach on Ocean Avenue in Long Beach, where we're celebrating the kickoff of Dine LBC, Long Beach Restaurant Week. The SoCal Restaurant Show is on the air.
And welcome back. It is the SoCal Restaurant Show. And happily, we're here with you every Saturday morning from 10 a.m. until 12 noon, right here on AM 830 KLAA, the home of Angels Baseball. I'm Andy Harris, the executive producer and co-host of the show. Welcome aboard. Fun morning. We are in the lobby, the renovated lobby of the Westin Long Beach. We are right next to their new signature restaurant, which is Navy Proof Food and Spirits. And we're going to have a chance to get into Navy Proof in the next segment. We're going to be meeting with their chef, Chef Chris, and talk about what they're doing here. But pretty spectacular renovation as I look around. Again, $23 million renovation for the lobby and the 460 guest rooms. So that's a pretty significant investment for a property of this size. For those of you that are not familiar where the Westin Long Beach is, we're literally right across the street from the convention center on Ocean. Wonderful location. And I am looking out, actually can see a little bit, a crack of the ocean there through the beautiful glass windows that they have here that are floor to ceiling. And as a matter of fact, the signature sculpture that they have in the lobby of Navy Proof is 3 stories, so all open, very spectacular vistas, and equally good food. Do keep up with us on social media. We're on all the platforms, a lot of good information there that connects Saturdays, and you will see some provocative food imagery on our Instagram at SoCal Restaurant Show throughout the show today, because we are going to be talking to some of the participating restaurants that are part of Dine LBC Long Beach Restaurant Week, which actually starts a week from today on Saturday, August 3rd, and then runs through August 11th. And for those of you that are not familiar with what the concept of a dining out week is, this is really a great opportunity for you as the consumer, for you as the guest, to try restaurants that you may have heard about but not experienced before, or restaurants that you know and just haven't been to in a while, because the whole motivation for a restaurant to do a dining out week is they want to dazzle you as the diner. So they have special menus at different price levels, all value priced, but again, the odds are all on your favor, because the only reason a restaurant wants to participate in one of these dining weeks is they want to dazzle you as the guest, because they'd like to see you again, and they'd like to have you tell your friends that, boy, I was just at so-and-so, and did I have a great time, and you ought to do it too. So in terms of social media, website's easy. It's SoCalRestaurantShow.com. Facebook is SoCal Restaurant Show. Send us a tweet if you like, and many of you do, at SoCal Restaurant. And as we said, for the very best and provocative food imagery, Instagram too, at SoCal Restaurant Show. And we're proudly presented each and every week by Melissa's World Variety Produce and West Coast Prime Meats. So we are now this morning broadcasting live from the kickoff party for Dine LBC Long Beach Restaurant Week. You might call it kind of a brunch lunch affair. The doors have just opened to the invited guests. People are streaming in. There is food going out, little tastes and nibbles from restaurants that are part of Dine LBC Long Beach Restaurant Week. But the host restaurant and the host facility for this kickoff party for Dine LBC Long Beach Restaurant Week is right here. It is at the Westin Long Beach, and their restaurant is Navy Proof Food and Spirits. And what they're doing this morning for our brunch and lunch affair is they are sending out taste-size bites from their menu for the guests to sample here. And I see some people walking by with something right now. Can't quite see what it is, but I see. Yes, there are already some cocktails that are coming out. Thursday night here at the Westin Long Beach, they had their reception for the renovation, which has just been completed. And it was really a great opportunity to see what Chef Chris at Navy Proof Food and Spirits was putting into his new menu, because boy, did they keep the bite-sized tastes of things coming. He does a halibut ceviche, which is one of his signature recipes, which is really incredibly delicious. You get that fresh ocean taste of the halibut. And again, it is seafood at its very, very best. So that's an item I hope we will see again today when we have a chance to talk to Chef Chris. We'll actually find out what's on the menu today. They were also doing some little sliders, and they have a burger that's very popular on their menu here. It's the Proof Burger, but it's not conventional ground chuck. It is brisket. So again, it elevates that burger to something that is even, I think, fancier and more fun. And as we have a chance to talk to some of the chefs today, you'll find out what they are doing for Dine LBC. And again, the chef's mission here is strictly to wow you as the guest. So it's a great opportunity. Long Beach is actually a city of many neighborhoods. A lot of people don't realize that. And there's some wonderful ethnic cuisine that is available in Long Beach. So this is a chance for all of these up-and-coming chefs to really strut their stuff, show what they do best, and you, as the dining out public, get a chance to experience all of that. So I think we've set the table. We're about to take our first break, and when we come back, we're going to be talking with Executive Chef Chris, who is here at Navy Proof Food and Spirits, has designed the menu and is now underway here. And don't forget, because this is a restaurant that's located in a hotel, in addition to dinner, he is also doing breakfast and lunch. So there definitely is a lot on the menu here. You are listening to the SoCal Restaurant Show. We're proudly presented by Melissa's World Variety Produce and West Coast Prime Meats. Don't wander far. We're here at Dine LBC.
The SoCal Restaurant Show is live from the freshly renovated Westin Long Beach, home of the new Navy Proof Food and Spirits restaurant.
And welcome back. It's a very special edition of the SoCal Restaurant Show because we are live from the renovated Westin Long Beach property, the home of the destination restaurant, Navy Proof Food and Spirits, and we're about to talk with their executive chef. And this is a conversation I've been looking forward to having. Who am I? I'm Andy Harris. I'm the executive producer and co-host of the SoCal Restaurant Show. Welcome aboard. We're here for the launch of Dine LBC Long Beach Restaurant Week, which starts a week from today. And it's your opportunity as the dining public to be able to experience the best restaurants in Long Beach at value prices with special menus. And you as the diner, are in control, because the only reason restaurants participate in restaurant weeks is they want to wow new guests and also bring back guests that have been there before, but may have not been there for a while. So again, unlike Vegas, the odds are all stacked in your favor. Do keep up with us on social media. We're on all the platforms, a lot of good information there that connects Saturdays, and we're enthusiastically presented to you each and every week by Melissa's World Variety Produce and West Coast Prime Meats. As I said, we are broadcasting from the lobby and the party for the kickoff of Dine LBC Long Beach Restaurant Week, but literally we are adjacent to their new destination restaurant here at the Westin Long Beach, and that is Navy Proof Food and Spirits. And I got a chance on Thursday night to meet their executive chef. This is Chef Chris Garasik, and it is my pleasure to welcome Chef Chris to the SoCal Restaurant Show for the first time. Good morning, Chef Chris.
Good morning, Andy. How you doing?
We are doing well, Chef. And boy, what a field of play you have here, Chef.
Oh, absolutely. It's such a beautiful property with the addition of the new lobby and the restaurant. So we're very excited to be a part of this, combination of flair on the outside and flair from the back.
Chef, before we talk about your menus, because again, you don't make it easy on yourself, your breakfast, lunch, and dinner, that's a lot of hours. And of course, happy hour is there too. Just very briefly, if you can paint a little verbal picture for our audience of what Navy Proof looks like, because this isn't a conventional looking restaurant.
No, the lobby is very open. It almost has that sort of courtyard feel to it. Very open, natural light. So you actually don't feel like you're sitting inside a confined space. So it's very, you have a lot of freedom, very relaxing. We, sort of try to create a menu based around that. We are in a port town, so we sort of created a portly style menu with a lot of different influences to try to meet, all the needs of our guests and people staying with us.
And Chef Chris, I think it's important to say that you have positioned this as a destination restaurant. Of course, you need to serve your hotel guests, but particularly for lunch and dinner, you want to, welcome the neighborhood and also the extended neighborhood. And it doesn't feel like a conventional hotel menu at all. And let's give our audience some of the feel for that, Chef. Starting out with really your dinner menu in terms of a lot of things that are unexpected. You in particular, as part of your rather extensive background, you've had the good fortune to be at some seafood-centric restaurants, high-end seafood-centric restaurants.
Yes.
So, the pressure is really on. You're literally across from the bay. So that isn't something that is important to integrate in your menu. Tell us about some of your seafood specialties, particularly that are on your dinner menu, though I know you sneak a few in at lunch, and we'll get there.
Okay. So some of my top favorites, and we are, in the heart of downtown Long Beach, and the harbor is right at our doorstep. We wanted to create a lot of seafood influences. So, the ceviche is one of my top favorites here, especially due to the weather right now. Very light, very citrusy, very health driven, and goes well on a hot day.
And that's mainly halibut that's in it right now?
Yeah, we're using halibut. It's in season, and so to get towards sort of the entree side of things, speaking of the halibut entree is amazing. It's pan-seared. We have a cauliflower puree, braised fennel and kale, blistered baby tomatoes, and a Meyer lemon beurre blanc. So it's very summer forward, very light, very. Again, I try to go for a little health when we start building dishes. Very vegetable forward.
And when you're mentioning health and wellness, there actually is a health and wellness side to each of your menus, breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Correct. We definitely try to, again, source locally, very, very vegetable, organic, and farm to table driven. We definitely seek the top and highest end products that we can get our hands on. So hopefully that shows through on the final presentations.
And speaking of credit to the farmers where credit is due, actually many of your dishes, you actually name or attribute the small farm in Southern California that those dishes come from. So that's a pretty nice touch to have on your menu.
Yeah, the basis was we wanted to support California and all the good products that it does create. And so we based it around, California products. We wanted to feature everything under the sun that this lovely state has to offer. And, hopefully, again, that shows through the menu and all the items we have listed and added.
Now, I don't necessarily see California spot prawns on every menu. Tell us about that.
That was a tough one. They're so delicious, but they're in such high demand, and they're so difficult to get your hands on.
And expensive.
And expensive, yes, definitely expensive. But as delicious as they are, I had to shy away from them just because of availability purposes.
Now, everybody, of course, needs to have a burger on their menu, but You just wouldn't put an ordinary burger on the menu. And I think the sliders that we sampled Thursday evening here for the kickoff party for the renovation that I was fortunate enough to be part of, I assume the patty, the meat that was in that, is the same meat that is in the proof burger. Tell us what you do that's a little bit different than ground chuck, Chef, in the proof burger.
All right, so we our blend is a little different. We use a brisket chuck blend, which is and what is unique? It's a double patty burger. So I hate to say it, but I love In-N-Out, and we try to do a little bit of a mirror of what they offer, but ours is definitely a different take. So double patty, we have a 1-year aged white cheddar out of California to even it out, California avocado, shredded romaine, and a chipotle aioli, which it's dynamite.
Just a simple little burger, Chef, right?
Just simple little burger.
Now, Chef Chris, we've teased our audience, I think, quite a bit now in terms of the diversity of your menu and the fact that this is a destination restaurant. Let's get into Dine LBC. Let's give our listeners a preview of what you're doing for, again, multi-courses for $35 per person. Wow.
Yeah, it's a great deal. It's actually a superb deal.
Take us through, Chef, because again, the appetite alarm is ringing.
All right. So again, Dine LBC, we're very lucky to be a part of such a special event, and hopefully it opens the doors up to new guests and satisfies the guests that are staying with us as well. So we have our first 3 offerings are really light and straightforward. We have our roasted cauliflower hummus, our summer ceviche, and our fried green tomato salad. The fried green tomato salad is more of an appetizer because it is it has roasted beets, burrata cheese, it has a fried aspect, so it's more of an appetizer rather than a salad. Our mid-courses are a little gem salad.
Hang on 1 second. On the fried green tomatoes,
yes.
Again, you are identifying the farm, and the tomatoes are coming from Tutti Frutti Farms, correct?
Yes, absolutely.
Which, again, for a lot of our foodie listeners that are frequent denizens of the Santa Monica Farmers Market, you can't miss them there. But again, Chef, very lovely of you to credit the farmer, because boy, it all starts with them.
Oh, absolutely. It's definitely, in this industry, it really does start with them.
So I'm sorry, I interrupted you. You were about to go into the salad course.
Oh yeah, so the mid-courses, we have just our light house salad. It's a little gem salad. It has cucumber, avocado, fava beans, feta, and a nice emulsified white balsamic vinaigrette. And threw a little heirloom tomato bisque with a little mini grilled cheese to accompany it, sort of a classic style pairing. And then to sort of cap off, we offer a roasted summer squash cavatelli, which is it's a beautiful dish. It's got a light sort of Alfredo sauce, but it is full of roasted summer squash, roasted baby tomatoes, and shaved asparagus. For our main courses, we're offering our Scottish salmon dish, which is, again, one of my favorites. Actually, probably hands down my favorite. It comes with a sweet potato hash with quinoa, a little watercress for some freshness, shaved fennel, and apple maple beurre blanc. And then another classic.
That certainly makes salmon interesting, Chef.
Yeah. Well, growing up in Oregon, I grew up on salmon, so I always have to have that on my menu wherever I go. So to last but
I
not
wouldn't
least,
argue the point.
Last but not least, we have our short rib tartine, which is it's a classic dish. We present it on a half loaf of toasted French baguette with house-made farmer's cheese, caramelized onions, wild mushrooms, a braised 24-hour short rib, and a little frisee, and our hand-cut fries, which we do in-house. So.
Wow. Now, just a quick preview, because there's also dessert.
Yes. One of my favorite hands-down desserts is churros, so I had to incorporate those in some which way or form. They are on our menu currently as one of our handful of desserts that we do offer here, and to me, they're approachable, they're fun, they bring you back to sort of like when you were a kid, Disneyland or the fair or wherever, so that's why I chose to have those on the menu and offer those.
And again, ladies and gentlemen, this is their Dine LBC Long Beach Restaurant Week menu with choices in every course and $35. I mean, if you're at all curious about Navy Proof Food and Spirits, here's a good way to get inaugurated and have it at a value too. Chef Chris, as we're starting to fight the clock, there was a dish I really enjoyed Thursday evening that I know you're very proud of that's on your menu. The Nashville hot chicken right now, is hot, hot, hot.
It is quite hot.
What can one say? Yours has that spiciness, but it's not over the top. And what's really interesting is it comes with this incredible Green Goddess dipping sauce, which isn't Green Goddess, the old-fashioned Green Goddess, the original Green Goddess salad dressing, is really heavy. Mm-hmm. Yours is light and bursting with flavor. Just real briefly, tell us about that, because boy, did that get my attention.
Well, the wings, we take a lot of pride in them. We brine them for 24 hours, dust them with a little bit of flour, and they are fried, and we toss them in our Nashville sauce. So our Nashville sauce took a minute to hone, to get it to that nice consistency of, we wanted a little spicy, but not overly, and a little bit of sweet. So, and that sauce is very unique. When it coats the wings, it just coats them beautifully, and they're not wet, they're not messy. They come out beautiful. And the Green Goddess, it's just a little bit of a take. Again, we had to play with it to get it the right consistency, but it's herb packed. It's very herb forward. We wanted something to offer that will cut the heat a little bit of the wings, and also, accompany it with a lot of good flavors. So.
Well, Chef Chris, again, congratulations. Really interesting menu. I think you're off to a fast start, and I'm looking forward to sampling many more of the dishes.
Well, I look forward to serving them. So thank you very much for having me. It was a pleasure.
Thanks, Chef Chris. It is Chef Chris Garasik. He is the executive chef here at Navy Proof Food and Spirits, and also one of the participating restaurants in Dine, LBC, Long Beach Restaurant Week. When we come back, we're venturing over to Naples Island and catching up with a good friend of the SoCal Restaurant Show, who unfortunately we haven't talked to in a while, and that's Eric Samaniego, who is their executive chef, just celebrating his 3rd anniversary with Michael's on Naples. That is really wonderful. You're listening to the SoCal Restaurant Show, and we're proudly presented each and every week by Melissa's World Variety Produce and West Coast Prime Meats.
Hey there, it's Jet Tila, the emeritus host of the SoCal Restaurant Show and judge on Food Network's Cutthroat Kitchen with Alton Brown. You're listening to the very best in Food 411 on AM 830 KLAA.
And welcome back. It is the SoCal Restaurant Show. And we're here with you every Saturday morning from 10 a.m. until 12 noon right here on AM 830 KLAA, the home of Angels Baseball. I'm Andy Harris, the executive producer and co-host of the show. Thanks for being out there. Couldn't do it without you. Do keep up with us on social media. We're on all the platforms. A lot of good information there that connects Saturdays. And if you look at our Facebook feed now, SoCal Restaurant Show, you'll see some food imagery of the beverage and cocktail program at Navy Proof Food and Spirits, which is going to be our next subject of conversation. And we're enthusiastically presented to you each and every week by Melissa's World Variety Produce and West Coast Prime Meats. If you missed our show last week, we were at Navy Proof Food and Spirits at the Westin Long Beach for the kickoff party for Dine LBC Long Beach Restaurant Week, which starts today and runs through next weekend. Great opportunity to try out a lot of great places in Long Beach and priced at a value. We got to talk about the food program at Navy Proof Food and Spirits, but since it is named Navy Proof and spirits is also in the name, we do need to give equal time and equal justice to the beverage program. And who better to do that with us is their general manager and beverage director, Steve Nidell. And it is a pleasure to welcome Steve to the SoCal Restaurant Show for the first time. Good morning, Steve.
Good morning, Andy. Thank you for having me.
Well, thanks for all your hospitality last Saturday. That was definitely a fun event. And Steve, as I think you'll agree, the spirits were flowing.
That is for sure. Yeah, we had a really good time.
Now, Steve, you have a fun name for your restaurant, Navy Proof Food and Spirits. I know you know all the history. Explain to our audience what this reference to Navy Proof is, because it's kind of fun.
Yeah, absolutely. So, Navy Proof, what it basically means is it's a way of proving the strength of your spirits. So I guess back in the day when the Royal British Navy was giving out the rum rations, they would give out about 2.5 ounces every day between 11 and noon. And then the officers, what they would do is they would drink theirs neat, and then the sailors would drink it mixed with a little bit of water. But what they're finding is that they're worried that some of the rum was diluted. So what they did is they mixed the rum with gunpowder. So if it was at 57% alcohol, the gunpowder would ignite. And if it wasn't, it wouldn't, and then there'd be a lot of people in trouble.
Wow. Now, Steve, one thing for sure, there is nothing watered down in the libations at Navy Proof Food and Spirits. Let's talk about your beverage program a little bit, because you really have a very serious cocktail program. You have bartenders that definitely know what they're doing and can put together a cocktail fairly quickly. So you can see they, definitely have been at it for a while and have proper training. And the positioning of what you're doing at Navy Proof Food and Spirits is really a destination for locals, and you're putting a lot of effort into that. So first of all, let's just talk about the cocktail program. In general, what do you have to offer to your guests that's, different than the regular fare? Because, again, you're aiming high.
Yeah, absolutely. There's a lot of competition out there, and there's a lot of very talented people. We're lucky enough to be in Long Beach now, where there's really a lot of great cocktail things going on, and we don't get as much recognition as the rest of LA or the bigger cities as well. But what we're doing is we're part of this movement of reinventing the hotel bar. I guess would be kind of the way it would be. Is that the hotel bar originally was the destination place for the traveler's bar, which also ties into the Navy Proof traveling. And originally in hotel bars, before Prohibition, they were the only places that had refrigeration. So it was really the only place you'd go and get a cold drink, because it was the only place that you could get ice. This was back around the 1800s or so. So we take a lot of this history of being a port town, being a hotel bar, and infusing that into our cocktail program. So one of the things we do is we hand cut all of our own ice. We take all of our spirits are from all over the place. And as well as our cocktails. We have a strong foundation in all the classics, but also really jump out into the modernness and our location here in Southern California.
Now, since we are talking about Dine LBC Long Beach Restaurant Week, Steve, you've created a special cocktail for Dine LBC, and it's called Bixby Tea. Share that with us if you would. Yeah,
so we on our Dine LBC menu, it's a 4-course menu, but we've also added on a few cocktails for it, and one of those is the Bixby Tea. Bixby Tea is pretty much it's a matcha cocktail almost. So what we do is we take a banana and we caramelize it. Then we infuse the rum with the caramelized banana. Then we take a little bit more of the agricole rum, which is a Caribbean rum made from sugarcane, and then mix it with pistachio, and then we made a little a pistachio orgeat. Orgeat's basically a orange flower water, a little bit of sugar, and pistachio. That's a hard word to say. And then we mix it all together and make this really amazing, refreshing, almost a tea cocktail that we feel is pretty representative of what's going on in Long Beach.
Steve, it goes down far too easy, and I invite our listeners to go to the Dine LBC Long Beach Restaurant Week website, and there's some videos of these specialty cocktails, and Bixby Tea is represented there. You'll get to see how a professional puts that together with a lot of artistry. But that is hardly the beginning and the end of the cocktails that are available at Navy Proof Food and Spirits. Another cocktail that's on your regular menu, Steve, but is one of your specialty cocktails, is something provocative called the bargaining table. Tell us about that one, if you would.
Yeah, the bargaining table, it's one of our tableside cocktails. So that's it's a blend of rums, Berna, which is an Italian bitter, and a little sour cherry bitters, and then what we do is we take espresso beans and dry ice, and we create this kind of foggy a float that goes over the top and do this over the table. You guys will have to come in and check it out. I can't do it justice to describe it, but it's quite the show, and it's quite the tasty cocktail as well.
Well, and Steve, you mentioned, but we'll expand upon, you do have a little portable bar that's very distinctive. It has kind of an Art Deco look to it, that some of your creations do come and are prepared tableside. So that's definitely unexpected and definitely adds a lot of flair to the libation program that you're doing at Navy Proof. So definitely want to get that in there. Steve, for some of our listeners that, kind of want to try you out, but do it in a modest way, they kind of want to kick the tires. You have a very ambitious happy hour program that runs 7 days a week. Tell us about that, because if we haven't given our listeners enough of an incentive to give you a look, perhaps the happy hour program might be the needed incentive.
Yeah, our happy hour is it's definitely gaining a lot of popularity, especially in the local area. And so, our location, we're first of all, we're a big, bright room with a lot of windows, so it's quite bright. We're dog-friendly, air-conditioned, and then we have this great happy hour 7 days a week that runs 3 to 6. So we offer, Long Beach has some great beers, so we rotate our drafts through some local beers. We also go out and source some wine. So what we'll do is we'll buy a large quantity, and then we'll do a daily wine that we do, and then we'll pass the savings on to the guest. And then every day we come up with a cocktail based on really what's going on in the kitchen, and then we do it as like a dealer choice cocktail. So, and then on the food side, it's one of the most amazing deals I've seen. So what you get is 3 full portion items for $25, or they're $10 each if you want to get one. So you can get a burger, you get our hummus, you get this. Quickly, what we're getting known for is our chicken wings here. Our tutti frutti green tomatoes. We've got a lot of great things happening for
well, and Steve, I'm happy to endorse the Nashville hot fried chicken, particularly with that Green Goddess dipping sauce, which is a creation of your very wonderful Chef Chris. Green Goddess, the classic Green Goddess dressing, as you know, is wonderful, but boy, it's heavy. And with your Green Goddess dipping sauce, you have all that flavor that you find in a Green Goddess, but it's not heavy. So you can really enjoy getting that little taste to kind of tone down a little bit of some of the heat that goes with the Nashville hot fried chicken. So definitely a dish I would recommend. Steve, as we need to wrap this up, please let our listeners know, because you run 3 meals a day. So basically, what is your time span 7 days a week at Navy Proof Food and Spirits? Because, boy, it's a lot of hours.
Yeah, that's for sure. We're about 18 hours a day open. So we start breakfast at 6:30 every morning, and we run that until 10:30. Our lunch picks up right afterwards. We go lunch straight through until 2 o'clock. And then we pick up dinner at 5 o'clock. But we have this quite extensive menu that we offer at our bar and in the whole restaurant, and that starts at 11 and goes straight on until midnight. So you get a full meal pretty much from 6 in the morning until midnight, 7 days a week.
No kidding. And to conclude, Steve, what is the best website so our listeners can see the menus and get more information?
Yeah, we're at NavyProofLB for LongBeach.com. So that's NavyProofLB.com.
Very easy. Ladies and gentlemen, it is the general manager and the beverage director for the new Navy Proof Food and Spirits at the Westin Long Beach. Steve, thanks for the time. And as you kick off Dine LBC Long Beach Restaurant Week today, have a very busy Dine LBC.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me.
You are more than welcome. You are listening to the SoCal Restaurant Show. When we come back, it is George's Restaurant. Soul Delicious, that SOUL, of course. We're presented by Melissa's World Variety Produce and West Coast Prime Meats.
The SoCal Restaurant Show is live from the Westin Long Beach for the kickoff party for Dine LBC, Long Beach Restaurant Week, running from August 3rd to 11th.
And welcome back. It is a very special edition of the SoCal Restaurant Show. As you heard, we're live this morning from the Westin Long Beach, newly renovated. We are in the lobby right next to Navy Proof Food and Spirits, their new destination restaurant here. And boy, I'm looking at some of the breakfast and lunch entrees that are still coming out. And I'm getting very hungry. But the good news is after the show, I'll be able to resolve that little issue. We are with you every Saturday morning from 10 a.m. until 12 noon right here on AM 830 KLAA, the home of Angels Baseball. I'm Andy Harris, the executive producer and co-host of the show. Welcome aboard. Glad to have you here. We are in the prime of it, in the thick of it here at the launch party from Dine LBC. The room is filling up. I see cocktails going around. Food is being passed, all very intriguing. Do keep up with us on social media. We're on all the platforms, a lot of good information there that connects Saturdays, and we're enthusiastically presented each and every week by Melissa's World Variety Produce and West Coast Prime Meats. Regular listeners to the show will know that we have talked about the Kimbo app previously on the show, particularly in connection with San Diego Restaurant Week earlier in the year. We go back with the creators of the Kimbo app over a year now, and they are very involved in Dine LBC Long Beach Restaurant Week, and it is a good time to kind of catch up with them and let you, the dining public, know about this very useful app that is free, and get all the details. And it is a pleasure to welcome to the SoCal Restaurant Show for the first time Tao Doan, who is the co-creator of the Kimbo app, and she and her husband partner, John, are actually, their booth and display is feet from me here in the lobby of the Westin. Good morning and welcome.
Thank you so much, Andy, for having me.
Give us just a little background of what the Kimbo app is, and how old are you at this point?
53.
No, the app. We would never ask ages on
It's
the SoCal
okay. I'm very
Restaurant
proud.
Show.
I'm very proud.
Well, let's say a very youthful 53.
Thank
then.
you. So Kimbo is about 2 years old, and it was started from our own frustration of not being able to find up-to-date menus quickly and simply.
Well, you and we should say you and your husband and your family are regular diners.
Yes.
And fortunately, you're involved in the tech space. But this was a frustration for you. So please, go ahead.
It absolutely was. We were in San Francisco in Fisherman's Wharf. We have very picky eaters, our daughters, and she actually wanted to try crab cake. Like, oh my God, thank God, right? So my husband, Mr. Web developer, programmer, he's on his phone for 42 minutes looking for crab cakes in Fisherman's Wharf, which is ridiculous. So I just turned to him and said, listen, why don't you build something for us so we can get to up-to-date menus quickly. That really was the birth of Kimbo, which means vicinity in Japanese.
And probably you should spell it.
Yes, Kynbo. That's what it means. So Kimbo is a food and drink search engine on steroids, if you will. It is accessible via a mobile app and also from your desktop at Kynbo.com. One tap takes you to all nearby menus. And the cool part about Kimbo is that you can actually search for your exact craving. So not just seafood, but how about lobster roll, right? Not just Italian, but puttanesca, or your favorite type of cocktail, brand of cheese. So it really is a search engine on steroids. And you can also find dietary preferences as well. Vegan, gluten, whatever you want, or pooch-friendly places who has kids menu, happy hour, or specials and deals. So we made it a one-stop shop to help consumers find what they want, and then they can make reservations from Kimbo or even get navigation as well. So very quick, you find what you want, and we want to help you get to where you want to go as quickly and stress-free as possible.
And over the 2 years that Kimbo has existed, you are constantly updating, refining, and adding features.
Yes, so the more restaurant owners we met, so actually the Kimbo solution was largely designed by restaurant owners, operators, and chefs to provide an alternative to review sites for where to eat and drink decisions. So you can also now, as a consumer, recommend your favorite places to your friends and family, because I think that's a more compelling influencer than random reviews from strangers. And also restaurateurs can able to let all nearby diners know about their specials, their deals of the day. You have fresh Schooner Bay salmon on the menu. Not just people follow you on your social media, but all diners nearby wondering where they should go tonight. So it's also a powerful marketing tool for restaurants to drive traffic their way when they need it most.
Now, you got really an excellent reception in San Diego from the San Diego Restaurant Association.
Yes.
Tell us just a little bit about that, because that group really embraced, I think, the features, the versatility, and the utility of the Kimbo app.
Absolutely. So this is why we love partnering with Restaurant Weeks. They immediately understand the value. So when we approach California Restaurant Association San Diego chapter about using Kimbo to help diners find all participating restaurants much quicker. Because as you know, Restaurant Week websites are wonderful, but it's one website click at a time. Versus you can take all the restaurant with you on a mobile app and see everybody, and then you can quickly filter, as I mentioned before, for exactly what you're looking for. So it's really is a dynamic, a fun, tech-savvy way to take all participating restaurants with you, and you stay connected with them. Because now the owners have a way to remind you, like, hey, don't forget, I have that special tonight. And if you love something, you leave, and it's private feedback only, by the way. So you leave a feedback to the restaurant owner, and they can respond back to you to get you back in again.
No, very efficient and, again, high utility. Now, let's transition to Dine LBC Long Beach Restaurant Week. This is the second time or the second year that you've been a sponsor of this event. So specifically for the restaurants that are part of Dine LBC, what do you offer them? What enhancements do they get by having their information displayed on Kimbo?
Right. So what Terry Henry did great this year was we have a lot of new participants in Dine LBC Restaurant Week. So some of them may not even know they're on Kimbo yet, because we're very quiet behind the scenes. We quickly onboarded all participating restaurants, not just your Restaurant Week menu, by the way, all of your menus, breakfast, brunch, happy hour. So diners not only find the specials for Dine LBC, but they get to see all your menus, what you have to offer, because who knows, maybe they're traveling with folks who may not find what they want on the Dine LBC menu, but guess what? They can see everything else, and they can see what they want. They can find exactly what they want. And then we also will give you your own login to access your owner portal. So now you can stay connected with all these new diners that has gravitated your way. Thank you to Dine LBC Restaurant Week event. And you stay connected with them long after the event is over. And you have control over your data, meaning that you can create specials, publish them, deals. So it really is a powerful, useful tool to drive traffic when you need it most. And most of the features actually cost you nothing. You don't even know you're being found on this dynamic app, right? Because we uploaded your menus, we enter all of your data, your reservation information, location, and all the amenities you offer very quietly behind the scenes, but you're actually you're on a very fast growth, useful tool, if you will.
And Tao, I think it's something that we should share with our listeners, and I think this is kind of obvious to them just from your level of enthusiasm as we've been hearing for the last few minutes. But for you and your husband, John, this is really a passion project for you. You have self-funded this. You have resisted opportunities for VC folks to come and buy in because you want to preserve the integrity of what you're trying to do. Tell us a little bit more about that, because that's unusual in the space that you work in.
It's very unusual because we both came from very big corporations in Silicon Valley, but no one calls it that. It's called the Bay Area. So
I guess on TV.
Yes, on TV. It's so funny because I did mention my age. So why would two people in their 50s
with children
drain their savings to do a startup? We're crazy, but we're also stubborn. we know that we built a real useful solution to solve real business problems for real hardworking folks. My parents, when we emigrated from Vietnam or escaped the war, if you will, in the mid-'70s, opened one of the very first Vietnamese restaurants in California, and they made, of course, and they made a whopping $200 a month profit, and that includes driving to San Francisco to find Asian ingredients. So
did that even provide salaries for them, or it was
no,
no.
And trying to feed
so $200 net?
Yes, trying to feed 7 children, by the way, and we're big eaters, so. It's definitely a passion project, and we deliberately made it free for all restaurants to be found on Kinbo, except fast food chains. Sorry, you don't really need our help to be found. And
no apology needed.
Okay, thank you. Because we believe that the mom and pop, the smaller owned places, deserve equal opportunity to be found as the bigger high-end places that have bigger ad budgets. And as travelers and as food lovers, I want those hole in the walls as much as French Laundry, any of the higher-end places, right? So we want to create an equal playing field where everyone can be found, so it truly is free. And as you mentioned, a lot of the VCs didn't like that, right? We don't have a greed operating model. We actually have a fair and integrity-driven operating model to help the folks that we love. And we want to get people out of their houses and eat food in restaurants, by the way. I guess you can order in sometimes, but get your butts off the couch, go outside, sit across from somebody, share a glass of wine and a good meal.
Tao, couldn't have said it better myself. Now, just as we're fighting the clock,
yes,
if they go to the Kimbo app now and they click on the Dine LBC icon, what happens?
All participating restaurants will pop up in cute little red eggs. One tap takes you to their menu, any specials they may have to offer or deals, and then if you love what you see, you can click on the navigation and you can get there, connect the dot from A to B very quickly. And if you love your experience or don't love it, and I can't imagine you won't, leave a feedback to the chefs and the owner. And then you can also recommend it to family and friends. You guys, it's all in one place. You cannot. It's so easy. Just try it. Kimbo.com.
It is easy. Even for some of us that might be a tad technically challenged. Is we need to say goodbye, Tao, one more time on the website.
Yes, it is Kinbo, KYNBO.com. Or just go to your iTunes or Google Play and type in Kinbo, KYNBO, and download the free app. Check us out. We're going to be everywhere, folks. This is the way you're going to decide. Find what you want and decide where to eat and drink.
Tao, no doubt about it. Tao Doan, co-creator of the Kinbo app, part of Dine LBC Long Beach Restaurant Week that starts a week from today and runs through the following Sunday. We look forward to following your progress.
Thank you so much, Andy, for having us. And thank you, Terry, for having us back with you.
Our pleasure. You are listening to the SoCal Restaurant Show. I don't know where that first hour went, but it's gone. When we come back, the producer and originator of Dine LBC Long Beach Restaurant Week, Terry Henry. We're proudly presented each and every week by Melissa's World Variety Produce and West Coast Prime Meats.
The SoCal Restaurant Show is live from the Westin Long Beach for the kickoff party for Dine LBC Long Beach Restaurant Week, a foodie's delight.
And welcome back. It is hour 2 of the SoCal Restaurant Show. And happily, we're here with you every Saturday morning from 10 a.m. until 12 noon, right here on AM 830 KLAA, the home of Angels Baseball. I'm Andy Harris, the executive producer and co-host of the show. Welcome aboard. My esteemed colleague, Chef Andrew Gruhl of the Slapfish Restaurant Group, is away on restaurant business this morning. And it's a shame because he is missing a great party here at the Westin Long Beach. We are right next to broadcasting from Navy Proof Food and Spirits. The spirits have already been out, but the food is making its way around. And I have already seen these incredible shrimp and crab cakes and also their Nashville fried chicken that comes with this incredible Green Goddess dipping sauce. I'm seeing some things to my right now. So definitely a lot going on. Do keep up with us on social media. We're on all the platforms. A lot of good information there that connects Saturdays. In particular, you're going to be wanting to look at our Instagram feed about right now, at SoCal Restaurant Show, because there's some provocative food imagery of some of the food that's making its way around here at the Dine LBC Long Beach Restaurant Week preview party. And let me tell you, everybody is eating well that is here right now. And we're enthusiastically presented to you each and every week by Melissa's World Variety Produce and West Coast Prime Meats. Well, ladies and gentlemen, it is the 6th annual Dine LBC Long Beach Restaurant Week. And an event of this size doesn't happen by happenstance. There needs to be a producer, someone that behind the scenes for 12 months of the year is putting this ambitious effort together. And no stranger to the SoCal Restaurant Show is the producer of Dine LBC Long Beach Restaurant Week, Terry Henry, who's been very busy this morning entertaining all of her guests and welcoming her restaurateurs. So we're glad to grab her for a moment. Terry, welcome to the show and glad to have you in your home base.
Thank you, Andy, and thank you for your continued support.
Well, Terry, we're big believers in restaurant weeks on the SoCal Restaurant Show because, as we frequently say, this is where the odds are in the diner's favor, because the only reason a restaurant wants to participate in a restaurant week is to wow guests, either new people who have never been there before or regulars who, for whatever reason, may not have been there for a while. And of course, as you know, coming out of marketing in the restaurant business, those regulars are your bread and butter. That's what you depend on. And, you know, really through you and Dine LBC, I've been able to be introduced into the vibrant Long Beach restaurant community. And what's wonderful here is not only do you have this community of neighborhoods, but you have incredible ethnic food that's available in Long Beach, all the way up to very high-end establishments. So I think Long Beach surprises people. Wouldn't you agree?
You know, I have lived in Long Beach for 20 years, and in that time, I've just seen the culinary landscape just explode here, and we just no longer are taking a back seat to Orange County and LA anymore. So
nor should you.
Right, and it's very exciting to see.
Well, again, you know, you followed this and brought it along. Terry, for some of our listeners that might not be familiar with the basic concept of what a restaurant week is, just very briefly highlight what a guest can expect that dines in a Dine LBC restaurant from a week from this Saturday, from a week from tomorrow.
Right. So participating restaurants offer a 2 to 3 course value-oriented menu, and you know, they can do, you know, add-ons for a little higher end things, but we want to get people through the door, and that value is going to get them through the door and try something new and mobilize them around the city, get them out of their comfort zone, out of their neighborhood to try something new.
Now, many restaurants that are part of Dine LBC also have a signature cocktail or a spirit pairing. Tell us about that. Also, you are teasing those this year. You have some really fun libation videos, so tell us all about that.
We do. You know, cocktails, craft cocktails are so hot right now, and we decided to do a series of Dine LBC presents How to Cocktail with some of our best bartenders around town, and we showcased, you know, their creations.
And among those creations, we might point out, since we are in the lobby of the Westin Long Beach and literally looking into Navy Proof Food and Spirits, there was a really interesting creation that came from one of the bartenders here. Let's tease that.
It had some kind of pistachio syrup and banana rum syrup and matcha and rum, and it was very curious. But, you know, they cut the ice cubes and stuff, and it was such a dramatic presentation. It was really beautiful.
Now, just again to help our listeners here, Terry, how can they see this little series of videos?
Go to dinelbc.com, and you'll find all the videos. You'll find everything about our Instagram contest, which I'd like to talk to you about, and all of the restaurants and menus.
Let's, before we talk about the Instagram contest, one more time on the dates, when you start and when you finish.
August 3rd through the 11th this year. It's a Saturday through a Sunday, so we have 2 full weekends. So those of our, those diners that are in Orange County or LA, let's give them, 2 weekends without traffic to come and visit Long Beach.
Hear on that.
Yeah.
Tell us, you do have this fun Instagram contest that's going on, and gosh, it ties into where we are right now.
Yeah.
So tell us about that one.
Thanks to our friends at the Westin. They have offered a 2-night stay here at the hotel plus dinner at Navy Proof. And all you need to do is when you're dining out and about during Dine LBC, post your photos on Instagram, tag Dine LBC, and the winner will be chosen randomly. There is no purchase necessary, so take your picture outside the restaurant if you want to. But so a couple of people are going to get a nice little stay at the Westin.
And a magnificent
yes.
meal, right next door at Navy Proof. And we've been sampling the food now here for a couple days, Terry, and I think this definitely shows a lot of promise.
I'm excited. Yep.
Have you tried the Nashville hot chicken yet with the Green Goddess dipping sauce?
Yes, it was on Thursday night. It was fantastic. All their food's fantastic.
And it's going around again.
It's going around.
As well as there seem to be ample libations. It does seem to be a signature around here.
It is brunch.
Well, that's true,
Yes.
and important to note. Terry, if listeners want to be able to get all of the Dine LBC Long Beach Restaurant Week menus and find out all the participating restaurants that are part of Dine LBC, how do they do all of that?
Just go to dinelbc.com. There's a menu, restaurants on the menu. Click on that or scroll down on the homepage. I am still chasing a few menus, so but all should be up and available to view by Saturday.
Now, for the lucky people that are part of the launch party this afternoon, and we go off the air at 12 noon, but the nice thing is the launch party continues for another hour. We've talked a little bit about the food that Navy Proof is doing, and again, they're very generous here. They're tray passing everything they're doing, and there is a lot of food going around. What other restaurants do you have here today that are sampling things from their menus, just so we can give everybody credit?
We have Buono's Authentic Pizzeria, which is down on Ocean. They're our participant, and also Crazy Fish Grill, which is in San Pedro, which is right across the bridge. And then we have the Crooked Duck serving wonderful mango mimosas this morning.
And, ties in really well. Now, Buono's is a family-owned pizzeria that also does other Italian specialties. I assume they have some pizza here this morning and afternoon.
Have
but what else might be on their menu?
Pizza, and they have pasta, and I believe they brought some type of eggplant ricotta roll-up or something like that, and it all looks delicious.
And we should also mention that Crazy Fish, which is going to be the next subject of conversation on this broadcast, they aren't skimping. They are doing their signature poke from their restaurant. So having actually experienced that dish, it's one that comes with high recommendations. So for those of the folks that are here at the launch party or those that are on the way in, don't miss the poke because it will be a disappointment for you if you do.
I'm headed right there from here.
And I think it goes well with the mimosa. Terry, as we need to say goodbye, one more time on the best website for all the information for Dine LBC.
Very easy, dinelbc.com, and we'll see everybody dining out and about during Dine LBC Long Beach Restaurant Week.
We will, but one other thought that we want you to tease. We understand that there's a craft beer festival coming up. Just very briefly on that.
Long Beach Beer Week, the inaugural Long Beach Beer Week that's presented by Dine LBC, will be in March. And we're excited. As soon as Dine LBC is over, planning starts for that.
And details as they become available. Ladies and gentlemen, it is Terry Henry, the producer of the 6th annual Dine LBC Long Beach Restaurant Week. She needs to get back to her guests. We need to take a commercial break. When we come back, Crazy Fish in San Pedro. We'll find out how crazy these 5 guys are that put this all together. You are listening to the SoCal Restaurant Show. We're proudly presented by Melissa's World Variety Produce and West Coast Prime Meats. Don't wander far.
The SoCal Restaurant Show is live from the Westin Long Beach for the kickoff party for Dine LBC Long Beach Restaurant Week. where participating restaurants with patios will feature special dog-friendly menus.
And welcome back. It is a very special edition of the SoCal Restaurant Show. Yes, it's true. We are live from the newly renovated Westin Long Beach. We're in the middle of the kickoff party for the 6th annual Dine LBC Long Beach Restaurant Week, and a grand time is being had by all. I wish you could see all of the food that is going out right now, but between all the tray passed items from Navy Proof to the various stations that some of the participating restaurants are doing, including Crazy Fish's Poke, which we'll be talking about in a minute, I would say it is an ample spread. Also because it's brunch, there are definitely libations that are going around. Who am I? I'm Andy Harris, the executive producer and co-host of the SoCal Restaurant Show. Glad to have you as part of our special show here for the kickoff of Dine LBC. Do keep up with us on social media. A lot of good information there that connects Saturdays. And if you look at either our Facebook feed now or our Instagram, Facebook is SoCalRestaurantShow.com. Instagram is at SoCal Restaurant Show. You will see some provocative food imagery of some of the dishes that are available at Crazy Fish in San Pedro, which is our next subject of conversation. And we're enthusiastically presented to you each and every week by Melissa's World Variety Produce and West Coast Prime Meats. Ladies and gentlemen, one of the things I really enjoy about Dine LBC Long Beach Restaurant Week is discovering new restaurants, particularly ones that are new in terms of chronology. And one of my discoveries for this year is a restaurant in San Pedro by the name of Crazy Fish that just celebrated their year anniversary. And as any regular listener to the SoCal Restaurant Show knows, we really enjoy getting more seafood in our diets. It's healthy. It's cost efficient, and first and foremost, it's tasty. So here is the backstory a little bit of Crazy Fish. Is they like to say it's five guys, crazy or not, we'll soon find out, who got together to do this. And this is premium seafood in a fast casual environment, which of course gets my attention. And one of the five guys that founded Crazy Fish is sitting to my left, and this is Danish Alam. And Danish, it's wonderful to welcome you to the SoCal Restaurant Show for the first time. Good morning and welcome.
Thank you for having me, sir.
As I said, I have paid a trip to your restaurant. I've sampled a representative part of your menu and came away impressed, which is why I definitely wanted to have you on the show. We've kidded a little bit about how Crazy Fish came together. Why don't you give us just briefly the story without my added embellishment?
Of course. So background, a little bit of the five guys, myself included. We all have a background in seafood. We've been in the seafood industry, myself, my father, and the other guys for over 20 years. We wholesale the restaurants throughout Southern California from Santa Barbara to San Diego. And I like to joke around with people and tell people that we got bored and decided to open the restaurant. But the truth is, my dad and I have a crazy, yes, pun intended, passion for seafood, and we wanted to deliver that to people. San Pedro is going to be our first location. We're looking at number 2, 3, and 4 right now.
Not surprised.
And yeah, so we know what people use in restaurants and stuff because, you know, restaurants come to us for their product and everything, and we see what people do well. We see what people don't do well in. And we like to pride ourselves in using fresh and sustainable seafood. And I would say about 90% of our seafood on the menu is fresh. The only thing that comes in frozen is the shrimp, and that's always going to be coming in frozen. And then the wild salmon, when it's out of season, is frozen. Everything else we use in the restaurant is fresh seafood, and I think you can taste the difference from that.
Well, from a quality point of view, you can't argue that at all. But your father is a chef. You come with a bit of a restaurant background. The reason that we don't see more seafood restaurants out there is seafood is trickier to hold, seafood is trickier to handle, and you have to have very rigid systems to keep it fresh. So to do that in a fast casual environment, you've really made it even more difficult for yourself. Tell us a little bit more about that. And, having spent a couple of hours in your restaurant and really watched what the staff was doing very carefully, your standards in terms of how the seafood is being handled, the level of cleanliness in the restaurant. I mean, you really go that extra mile that you would see in a fine dining seafood restaurant. So tell us about that, because it's obvious that you really have your systems down.
Yeah, so of course, seafood in itself is really important, and not only is it important the way you handle it, it's very expensive. So if you screw up something, it's not going to be nice on your profit and loss statement at the end of the month, right? So quality control is really important, and lucky enough, we're busy enough to have a high enough turnaround rate with the product that we bring in every day. So most of the stuff that we bring in every day is out the door that same day. So we're not.
That's great.
Yeah. So there's worse problems to have, but
yeah, I'd say
we do have a seafood case. So it's more of you can come into the restaurant and buy seafood by the pound and take it home with you if you want to cook for yourself, or you have a party or event going on at your house.
And that's actually, as a guest comes into your restaurant, that's the first thing they see.
First thing they see, and that's the marketing thing as well. So everything that's in that seafood case is something we serve on the menu itself. So it's something that customers can come in and they can visualize what they're seeing before and know that they can trust that this is fresh seafood that they're eating.
Now, you probably have gotten a kick out of this because you've seen it happen, but poke is the new thing. Mm-hmm. It's kind of like sushi. It's ubiquitous. There's like a poke shop now in certain areas of Southern California, on almost every corner. And it's ridiculous because to do poke right, the fish has to be super fresh. You really need to know what you're doing, and it needs to turn. Your poke is really an outstanding representation of poke. Tell us a little bit about that, and that's actually become a signature for you, right? You're serving it here today.
Yeah, I appreciate that, and thank you. So a part of the seafood case as well, when you walk in, we have ceviche that we make in-house and both the pokies that we make. And there's a difference between our poke, and I'm not going to call out restaurants by name or other restaurants in general, but the majority of these restaurants that you see on the corners that you were talking about, they use frozen fish. And the way you can tell about that is the color of the fish itself. And if you're looking at a bright pink, like tuna cube, that stuff is treated with carbon monoxide for it to be retained in color. So you want something that's really crimson, dark, ruby red.
Dennis, you're telling all the secrets here. It's okay. But
so I'm giving it away, but
but that's something important for people to know.
Yeah, so we pride ourselves in using fresh seafood, and I'm not ashamed of telling people that. So if you can spot the difference, be my guest. You can eat at those places if you like, but I just like to let people know.
I wouldn't.
Inform them. Poke traditionally is a light dish, so you can come to the restaurant. We serve it as an appetizer by itself. The sauces aren't too overpowering. You get a side of chips with it. Keep it nice and light. The poke bowl we also have is also light. It's poke, rice, and some daikon sprouts and gnocchi mushrooms. Super simple, but it's been pretty popular. We get rave reviews about it. So.
Now, again, talking about that commitment to quality in a fast casual environment, your key sauces that go in your items, and again, you don't have a huge kitchen.
It's not the biggest place.
They come in from the outside?
No. So, like you said before, my dad used to be a chef, and my dad's very against buying pre-made sauces and everything. So everything we do in-house, coming from the garlic butter, chimichurri, Cajun mix, even the seasoned olive oil, the sriracha that we use for the shrimp bowl, salmon bowl, we make everything in-house. And I think you can taste that in the quality of the food. It's not some store-bought sauce that tastes like every other restaurant. So,
but again, Dinesh, that is a commitment to quality that you just don't typically see.
Oh, it's a lot of work.
In the fast casual.
It's definitely a lot of work. But I think it's paid off so far. So.
Well, I as you were saying earlier, and I agree with you, I think people are much more sophisticated about seafood now. Mm-hmm. And, you can taste the difference. Now, you have a lot of fun items on your menu, but something that really caught my attention that I really enjoyed, that I don't see it in a lot of places.
I haven't seen it either.
Is the swordfish sandwich. And, I mean, this is not a skimpy little sandwich. It's a meal on the plate. Mm-hmm. So tell us about that.
Of course. So the first thing I've noticed, obviously, when eating a sandwich, is you have to have a good bun. We use a fresh brioche bun, and I think that helps make the sandwich. It keeps everything together. Of course, we're using fresh swordfish for the sandwich. We're using the coleslaw that we make in-house. And both sides of the buns are toasted, and they're coated with a chutney spread, which is dried apricot, dried cranberry, papaya. And it just gives it a nice sweet flavor to off-balance the swordfish. and you get a mountain of French fries with it. We definitely don't skimp you out on the portions at Crazy Fish. So.
No. As I say, that's I think for those of our listeners that might be curious now and want to try Crazy Fish and not necessarily be there for the Dine LBC menu, that's a good item. As we're fighting the clock, really quickly run us through your Dine LBC menu. Again, a modest $25, and you're going to come away, I think, pretty satisfied.
Yeah, so you have your option between the appetizers that we do have in-house, but the entree part of the menu is something that we've run as specials throughout the past year and have been the most popular items. So we have the swordfish tacos that comes with our sriracha sauce that we make in-house. We have fresh local halibut that right now is being caught off the coast of San Diego, Mexico. And the coconut shrimp and chips have been a really popular special that we've done in the past 6 months. And we bred those in-house. You're getting jumbo 1620 shrimp with that. And again, a mountain of French fries with it. So you're getting a lot of food for the price.
No kidding. And then also throwing in dessert.
Yeah, and the Sunday's something that we don't normally do, so that's going to be an experiment for us that week.
Well, you know, again, it's your crazy Sunday.
Yeah.
So, but of course, ladies and gentlemen, it is Crazy Fish Grill and Market, one of the participating restaurants in Dine LBC Long Beach Restaurant Week. We have been visiting with one of the founders and partners, Danish Alam. Continued best wishes to you, and hopefully you'll see a lot of our listeners at Crazy Fish for Dine LBC.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for having me.
Our pleasure. You are listening to the SoCal Restaurant Show. A hotel of this size does not happen without a managing director. And we will soon be meeting the managing director of the Westin Long Beach and hearing about this magnificent renovation. You are listening to the SoCal Restaurant Show. We're proudly presented by Melissa's World Variety Produce and West Coast Prime Meats.
The SoCal Restaurant Show is live from the Westin Long Beach for the kickoff party for Dine LBC Long Beach Restaurant Week, showcasing the very best of the expanding Long Beach culinary community.
And welcome back. It is a very special edition of the SoCal Restaurant Show because we're live from the beautiful city of Long Beach at the newly renovated Westin Long Beach. I love this lobby. I could get used to this. You know, not only all the food that is coming around, which quite an assortment and pretty delicious. It is the SoCal Restaurant Show, and we're here with you every Saturday morning from 10 a.m. until 12 noon right here on AM 830 KLAA, the home of Angels Baseball. I'm Andy Harris, the executive producer and co-host of the show. Thanks for joining us. We love Dine LBC Long Beach Restaurant Week, so it's really our pleasure to be here supporting the kickoff party. I know the 6th annual is going to be another great one for them, and some great new restaurants that are part of Dine LBC this year, including the restaurant that is to my left, Navy Proof Food and Spirits, which we've been talking about this morning and we'll be talking about in the future. Do keep up with us on social media. We're on all the platforms, a lot of good information there that connects Saturdays, and we're enthusiastically presented each and every week by Melissa's World Variety Produce and West Coast Prime Meats. Ladies and gentlemen, the newly renovated Westin Long Beach is a large property, but it doesn't feel like a humongously large property. There are over 400 rooms here, and hotels, particularly now, need to have a personality, and personality comes in the form of a managing director. And over the last week, I've had a chance to get to know a little bit the managing director of the Westin Long Beach, who's been on this project over a year in terms of the renovation. And he has to be the most relieved man in Long Beach to now have the renovation done. And we'll have a chance to talk about what a managing director of a premium hotel of this size does. Because let me tell you, ladies and gentlemen, it is an awesome responsibility. There are a lot of moving parts that go with renting a hotel, and expectations are high. The managing director of the Westin Long Beach is John Thompson, who prefers to go by JT. JT, thank you so much for your hospitality this week, and welcome to our show in your show.
Thank you, Andy. It's awesome to be here. You know, we've been working on this project for a long time, as you said, and we opened this restaurant on July 8th. And this is really the ultimate kickoff to begin our journey here in Long Beach with Navy Proof Food and Spirits, and also, of course, the Westin.
Well, JT, as I told you earlier, having been lucky enough to be here Thursday evening for your kickoff party for the renovation, and now back here this morning, the level of service, the attention to detail, it's just really obvious. And I think you know this, coming from a very extensive hotel background as you do. Typically when they're past food items, past hors d'oeuvres, properties tend to skimp. There's a way of, if you have one tray of something going out, that one tray circulates before another tray circulates. Au contraire, as far as Thursday night was concerned, you basically had 3, 4, 5 items that were going out in any given time, and as soon as that platter was empty, another platter came out. Now, again, that's a real commitment on management's part. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, first of all, we are committed to expanding waistlines wherever we can here at the West of Long Beach.
I guess, JT, we're both good representatives of that.
Yeah, absolutely. And, Westin itself is kind of about wellness and travel, including, eat well and sleep well. But part of eating well is being able to taste food that is local, that is freshly prepared, and that is not made in a factory. And our chef, Chris Jurassic, who you had earlier on the program, really believes in that. And it runs not only through our food program, but also through our beverage program. Everything that we do, everything that we're presenting was made in-house and made with thoughtful intent about how things are going to come together. Not just a recipe of the food and how that tastes, but also how that food is going to pair with the cocktails that we're serving here at Navy Proof.
And it really shows. And the difficult part of Navy Proof is the hours that you have to operate, because you need to accommodate your hotel guests. But, from breakfast through late night supper, that's a lot of time.
Well, I appreciate that comment. We are here in the lobby, but really this is a restaurant that is separate and distinct from the Westin brand itself. And so we had to really think about programming in terms of what breakfast and lunch may look like, and then how to transition and differentiate that into an evening service. And all things have to come together to make that happen. It has to be sound, lighting, service, and products that you offer. And so, your comment is right on spot, and I really love the fact that you can recognize that you have to be able to transition from one type of customer to another. Those guests who are sitting trying, a band of sailors at night, one of our cocktails, is very different than the person having, a chia bowl in the morning. So we have to be a lot of things to everyone. But the one thing that we do have to be is we have to be people who deliver service with heart. We have to have integrity in what we serve, and we have to create a different and differentiated dining and drinking experience for the people here in Long Beach.
Well, JT, again, it's early in the game, but from what I see so far, you're off to a fast start. And again, in the hotel business, not easy to do. And from a guest experience, you're only as good as your last guest experience. And, the waters can be treacherous sometimes. Now, you have just completed a $23 million renovation. And to our audience, they may not grasp the magnitude of that. Let me give them a little perspective, and then I'd like you to comment on that. You're owned by a hotel management group, Highgate.
That's correct. Yeah.
I believe that's correct. They bought this property, and it's a matter of public information. I'm not revealing anything that's confidential. They bought this property for $85 million or thereabouts. You have just put $23 million into this property. In the hotel business, JT, that's very unusual. Tell us a little more.
Well, it is significant, and of course that adds to the overall valuation of the property, which I'll let the bankers talk to more than me. But what we think here at the property is that investment into this hotel is not just about an investment into a building. It's about the people that work at this hotel, many of whom have been here for 20 and 30 years, and more importantly, into the community of Long Beach. Long Beach over the course of the last couple of years has really been changing in terms of how people view it. And particularly from a convention standpoint, Los Angeles is certainly growing, and as it grows, more and more people are expanding out to these beach cities. And Long Beach in particularly is a really awesome town that has great hotels right around a convention center close to the beach. And so we just needed to participate in the rejuvenation of the city and make sure that we are top of game to help attract, rightfully, everybody in the Los Angeles area down to this great city of Long Beach. And so we just wanted to be part of that renaissance.
Well, pretty impressive. Now, we've talked about food and beverage fairly extensively. There are other areas of this hotel that are very important too. Tell us about your meeting and banquet facilities, and also what went into rehabbing the guest rooms, because I saw a suite, I saw several regular guest rooms, very comfortable, really nice touches and amenities, sophisticated.
Yeah, sophisticated, but really a nod to kind of the California coastline scene. So overall at Westin, we want people to be able to rise, and that just doesn't mean getting up in the morning. It means elevating everything you do and how you relate to the world. So we want to make sure that after you have a great experience here in Navy Proof or our calming lobby, you have a place that you can do your business well, that you can sleep well, and that you become the best possible person you can overall. And so the rooms renovation upstairs really, I think, talks to that. It allows people ease of business, which is really important in travel, so that you can get your work done and then go and play well as well. But the guest rooms are really fantastic here. And I don't know if we showed you one of our bi-level suites. We've got these great crazy suites that are 2 levels up. And I'll say it live on the air right now, one of them actually has a door to the helipad. So if you or any of your people need to fly in on the helipad and be discreet, we're here to be a service at the Westin.
JT, unfortunately, a little bit above my level, but our proprietor now, that probably is a different story. But that definitely is a nice touch. JT, one thing that I notice about you, a lot of hotel executives hide from their guests. They're in the executive office. They're God knows where. You, sir, spend time with your guests, and you spend time on the floor. Tell us a little bit more about that, because, again, that's a personal touch that for a property that has 460 rooms, actually more than that, rooms and suites, is a little unexpected, but a nice surprise.
Well, Andy, a managing director has to do a lot of things. Of course, we have to have great relationships with the Hotel Alliance, with the Convention Visitors Bureau, and, of course, the Chamber of Commerce. And we also have responsibilities as it relates to ownership group in the management company. But all of those things are only well served when our customers and our associates are well served. I started my career many, many, many years ago at a hotel in Toronto, hired, by the way, by the woman who is now my wife. And so she's taught me a lot in life, which is, your relationship with your staff is everything. And overall, at Marriott, particularly Westin being one of their brands, we really believe in the service profit chain. And that is that if you have a genuine care and concern for your associates, that will translate then into guest satisfaction, which of course makes all the revenue people happen. But you cannot fake it in this business. You have
That's
to have,
true.
You just can't. And so you've got to have a real genuine love for hospitality. And I have to tell you, this has been the most enjoyable and fun career that I could ever have imagined. It's given me everything in this life, and I am so glad to share it with the people here at the Westin Long Beach.
Well, JT, that comes across loud and clear. Again, as we need to conclude this segment, I want to thank you for your hospitality over the last week, for your eager willingness to host us for this broadcast this morning, and to your staff that has just been nothing but helpful to us. When it's smooth, JT, and it's easy, it's kind of a relief for us. I must say it doesn't always work that way. But, hey, it's live radio, and we make it happen. But I almost feel like a guest here, so I really appreciate that.
You are a guest, and thanks so much for having us and for broadcasting live here from the Westin Long Beach.
JT, our pleasure. And, of course, for Navy Proof, have a very busy Dine LBC Long Beach Restaurant Week.
Awesome. Thanks so much.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is JT, who is the managing director here at the Westin Long Beach. When we return, we're going to wrap it up with Beach City Food Tours. Yeah, you know who they are, but boy, have they helped put Long Beach on the map. We're proudly presented each and every week by Melissa's World Variety Produce and West Coast Prime Meats. Thank you, sir.
The SoCal Restaurant Show is live from the freshly renovated Westin Long Beach, home of the new Navy Proof Food and Spirits Restaurant.
And welcome back. Sadly, it is the concluding segment of the SoCal Restaurant Show, but the better news is we'll be right back at you next Saturday from 10 a.m. to 12 noon on AM 830 KLAA, the home of Angels Baseball. I'm Andy Harris, the executive producer and co-host of the show. Welcome aboard. And we are in the lobby of the Westin Long Beach for the show this morning. It is the kickoff party for Dine LBC, Long Beach Restaurant Week, which starts a week from today and runs from a week through Sunday. And dining values and dining experiences galore. I'm Andy Harris, the executive producer and co-host of the show. Thanks for tuning in. Do keep up with us on social media. We're on all the platforms. A lot of good information there that connects Saturdays. And we're enthusiastically presented to you each and every week by Melissa's World Variety Produce and West Coast Prime Meats. Well, we are in the city of Long Beach, which has become a dining destination. And what better way to conclude this special broadcast than talking with the producer of the best food walking tours in Long Beach. You've heard her on the show before. We're talking about the Beach City Food Tours, and it is a pleasure to welcome Layla Ali Ahmad back to the SoCal Restaurant Show. Layla, good morning and welcome back.
Good morning, Andy. Thank you.
Now, you are a big fan of dining in Long Beach, which really embarked you on this great adventure that is Beach City Food Tours. Just very briefly for background, fill our listeners in on how all of this came about, and then we'll talk about the 2 tours you're doing, and then I understand there's some new news, so we'll get into that too.
Yes. So I've been living in Long Beach for about 9 years now, and I fell in love with the dining scene, and I wanted to kind of demystify it for a bunch of people. And I started Beach City Food Tours about 3 years ago. I wanted to take tourists and locals around the city and show them how much has changed and how accessible it is, and kind of all of the cool things that the different chefs and restaurateurs are doing around the city, and the different variety and how local everything has been, and just kind of the sense of community that we have that maybe people don't necessarily know, because sometimes Long Beach tends to get lost in the shuffle between LA and Orange County. So I started Beach City Food Tours for that reason, and we launched our first tour, which was the Downtown Long Beach Walking Tour on Pine and the Promenade.
And tell us a little bit about that one.
So,
because I've been on both of your tours.
Yes. So it's a historic food and walking tour. We go to 7 different locations over the course of 3 hours, and about 20% of it is historic, so we learn about the different history, culture, and architecture spots in the city. And we dive deep into how each restaurant got started, the motivation behind the food that we're eating, and we try each signature dish at each stop. So the first 3 stops are savory on the kind of heavier side, and then the last 4 on the sweeter, lighter side. And it's very educational, and there's a really wide variety of food, and we get people from all over. Some people have been living in Long Beach for 30 plus years and have never been to some of these restaurants, and haven't stepped in downtown Long Beach in over 20 years, and are really surprised to see how much it's changed. And then same thing for tourists who have never seen the city at all.
And Layla, something wonderful you do is you like to support small family-owned restaurants, non-corporate restaurants that really have a lot to offer.
Yeah, correct. Yes, we like to support the community 100%. So we stray away from any franchises or chains, especially because we like to go into the story and the background and how each place is connected to the community of Long Beach. And a lot of our restaurants actually work together in tandem with some of our other stops. One of our stops happens to be a place called Rainbow Juices that supplies one of our coffee shops with juice for one of their specialty drinks called Recreational Coffee. And then they all happen to use a local organic farm called Organic Harvest that we are going to start working with as well, to give people a background into kind of the urban farm scene in Long Beach as well. So we like to start doing private farm experiences, and people can learn about composting and local seasonal produce. And you wouldn't think that there's this little pocket of paradise right off the 710 in Atlantic, but there is.
And thank God it is, yes.
Exactly.
we like to support small family farms too. Now, your downtown food walking tour begot a second tour, and of course, particularly because we're right next to Navy Proof Food and Spirits, this has to do with the spirits side of Long Beach. So tell us about that one. And your expert tour guide, who was my tour guide on that particular tour, is now sitting to my right, enjoying a libation, I notice.
Yes, we launched our first cocktail tour actually last November, and it is 5 stops, 4 full cocktails, and it actually takes place also in downtown, but in a separate section close to where we are now in the East Village. So it's more of an artsy, older section of downtown, and that's a completely different tour, more based in kind of spirit trivia, and all of the cocktails are seasonal, so you can actually take the tour, 1 month and then take it the next month, and the cocktails are going to be, most of them are going to be completely different, which is really fun. And we like to play a card game, and then everybody gets a surprise at the end, but I won't ruin that.
Well, talking about surprises, there is a Hollywood connection to Long Beach. Long Beach is used as a location frequently in both movies and television. Unfortunately, typically not playing Long Beach, but it still is a very vibrant scene in terms of film and television production. Can we give away one little secret? Because I think there's a location that's on the beverage tour that's kind of famous in a film that won some Academy Awards.
Yes, our second stop on the cocktail tour is the Blind Donkey, and it was the filming location for La La Land. So if you're familiar with the movie, at the end, no spoilers, but
we can talk about the scene.
Yeah, but the scene takes place at the end with Ryan Gosling in a bar called Seb's. That was actually the Blind Donkey. They did turn it back into Seb's for one night only, and there was I think like a 3-block line to get in that one day. So yeah, we talk about that on the tour, and everybody gets to choose between an old fashioned there and a whiskey sour, because they are a whiskey bar.
Now, also we should point out, Layla, that your tours, you keep the group small, so it's a real one-on-one experience with the host or hostess. What is your general group size?
We cap out at 12 for the public food walking tour in downtown, and then for the cocktail tour, caps out at 8. But then we also do private parties, so those we generally keep up. We can do about 48 people, but we'll split them up into smaller groups and then just rotate.
So again, it's a very intimate, personal experience. And kind of give us the pricing, if you could, and also the website.
Yeah, pricing starts at $69 without alcohol, $84 with. And then it's similar pricing for our cocktail tour. And the website is beachcityfoodtours.com. So you can go online and book there, or you can also call our hotline to book through our ticketing partner.
One more time on the website.
Beachcityfoodtours.com.
Pretty easy, but just remember it is plural. Mm-hmm. Ladies and gentlemen, it is Layla Ali Ahmad, the proprietress and producer of the wonderful Beach City Food Tours. If you want to explore Long Beach in the right way in terms of the food or beverage scene, I highly recommend both tours, both of which that I have been on. Very personal experience. All the tour guides really know what they're talking about, and a fun interaction for the guests. Layla, continued best wishes to you, and we look forward to following your progress.
Thank you, Andy.
You are more than welcome. Food fans, sadly, that's our show. My thanks to Mike here at the Westin Long Beach and Aaron back at Angel Stadium, both in technical excellence. Kudos also to Adam Bell on social media. Next Saturday, it's our annual chat with Chicken Charlie, one of the memorable food concessionaires at the OC Fair. We're proudly presented to you by Melissa's World Variety Produce and West Coast Prime Meats. Doctors in the Dugout with Alan Beyer, MD, and Jonathan Kaplan, MD, takes the field next. Good eating